So, I was going to do this video separately, even though, yeah, we did have the trailer for Tekken 8, and Tekken, as you guys know, is probably my favorite fighting game of all time. Either that or Soul Calibur and Tekken are usually neck and neck, but those are usually my top two favorite video games, fighting video games, excuse me. And yeah, this video is going to be a fun one, because I'm going to talk about, like, what guest characters I would like to see in the next Tekken game. Now, remember, in Tekken 7, we got some crazy ones. 2 that made sense, and 2 that were like, what the fuck? And I imagine it's going to be the same thing here. Remember, we had Akuma, who was part of the story of Tekken 7. That was a big part of it. We had Geese Howard from Fatal Fury. That made sense. Then we had Noctis from Final Fantasy. Okay, cross-promotion, I get it. And then Negan from Walking Dead. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about some guest characters I would love to see in fighting game, in the upcoming fighting game of Tekken 8. So I'm always excited to hear what you guys have to say. Just comment below, let me know what your favorite, what guest characters you would like to see. So first off, we're going to go with Kasumi from Dead or Alive. I've recently got into Dead or Alive, finally, and it's a workout. It's definitely like, I was trying to put my my Tekken style of fighting to Dead or Alive. That shit don't fly. I'll tell you that. So, but Kasumi was definitely a lot of fun. Kasumi is the main character. Is usually the main character of the game, and we don't get a lot of female guest characters. We usually get a lot of. I wouldn't mind a little change up here and there of having a female guest character. And Kasumi is the face of Dead or Alive, so I would be totally down with that. Tina would also be pretty fun too, but that's probably my main. Tina's becoming my main for Dead or Alive. But I was kind of leaning towards Kasumi because A, she's the face of the franchise. B, she's probably the most character like you could probably like hands-on play with and not have any trouble with. And yeah, I think we have plenty of ninjas, and I'm like, why not one more ninja, right? Like, why not one more ninja and have it be Kasumi? Also, Kasumi versus Nina Williams. I'm just saying. I'm just saying it. Or Kasumi versus Yoshimitsu. That'd be also cool. So Kasumi from Dead or Alive. Next up, this is one a lot of people have talked about, and a lot of people have agreed with me on this, is Yujiro Hanma from Baki the Grappler. Yujiro would be the most terrifying thing ever in Tekken. He also makes a lot of sense because he is more or less a mixed martial arts fighter. A lot of these characters have actual real-world fighting styles to them. So he's logical. He's a very logical pick in having a real-world fighting style or multiple fighting styles all at once. Plus, could you imagine seeing Yujiro versus Heihachi? That shit should be a death battle. Why isn't that a death battle fight? Like, really? Or him taking on the other Mishima members of the family. Members of the Mishima family, excuse me. This would be a totally brutal character to see. This would be a straight up, like, I'm gonna fuck you up 5 ways from Sunday kind of character. Yujiro would be brutal. He'd be devastating. It'd be a lot like having Akuma back in the game. Which, I know some people would be like, just bring back Akuma then. But here, Yujiro would probably give a lot more, like, less energy projectiles and more in-your-face, like, I'm gonna keep hitting you kind of combat, if that makes any sense. Which probably it didn't. Fuck me. Anyway, so there you go. So Yujiro, and now on to the next character. And I can best sum it up in one sentence. Omaera, moi shinderu. Nyuri! Yes, Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. Kenshiro is another character, and I know what you're thinking. Really? Fist of the North Star? Really him? And to which I reply with, Negan was in the last game! Okay? It's fine. So, Kenshiro would be a lot of fun. I could definitely see, like, as a final move, you're already dead, like, just to the heart, boom, you're dead. That would be really cool. Again, it's another character who uses a lot of, like, the same martial arts that are seen in the real world. So I think he would fit right in, honestly. Kenshiro would definitely fit right in there. And there's definitely still a major fan base for Fist of the North Star. I'm not saying, like, put Goku or Vegeta in this game. And I know what you're thinking, like, oh, but we could, they had Akuma, and I'm like, yeah, Akuma makes sense. Goku and Vegeta would have to be really toned down. That's the problem. So, definitely Kenshiro would be really cool. Now, our next character is kind of a little more like... The next two, I should say, are a little more like, what the fuck? But, again, Negan and Noctis were in the last game, so... Totally fine. So first up, we're going to go with Bayonetta from, Bayonetta. Bayonetta would be a lot of fun. Mixing the magic and the guns would be a lot of fun. I think she'd be more of a reach, because she's got pretty long legs, so I think she'd be more of a kicker than anything else. And also adding the guns and magic to her fighting style would be a lot of fun. And again, we had a guy who used swords and summoning as a character in Tekken 7 as a guest character. I'm just saying, you could just ask like Capcom to be like, no, it's Sega, excuse me. You could definitely just ask, hey, can we use Bayonetta or maybe Jean? Just saying, like, I think you could definitely get away with if you could make Bayonetta work. It'd take a lot of work, and I know you'd have to nerf some things. Probably not to the level of like trying to bring in a Dragon Ball Z character, but I think it could work. I think it could work with some finagling. Anyway, so there you go, Bayonetta. And our next character that's a little more what the fuck, but it makes sense, is Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe. Again, and you may be thinking that's an American property. Yeah, so is Walking Dead. What's your point? Snake Eyes would just be another fun character. You could even mix in like his weapons, the grenade, the submachine gun, the pistols, throwing stars, the swords, everything. Having him fight Yoshimitsu and Raven would be awesome. You could probably have Raven be his rival in the story mode. I think it would be a lot of fun. Also, maybe you could use Timber as like a move, like you jump back, summon hit, like how I forget her name, but she summoned a tiger in the attack. So maybe you could do the same with Timber, Snake Eyes' wolf, in the same move. Like, you could just summon Timber to attack for a quick moment, knock him off balance, and then get back to kicking ass. So I think that would be a lot of fun. Here's another one, but I think he's a little too OP to use. Honestly, he's a little too OP, and that's Seiya from Saint Seiya, aka Knights of the Zodiac. Seiya would be a lot of fun to see. Pegasus Seiya would be a lot of fun to see. Honestly, though, I think now thinking it over, I think he would be more appropriate for, like, maybe, I don't know, Soul Calibur, maybe. But I feel like he's just a little too OP here, but he would be another fun character. It's another anime that we don't get a lot of hype for these days, but yeah. And as for one more character for the road, and this is one that is, again, like, it's an American property, but it has a lot of crossover and hype in Japan. And that's Yang Xiaolong from Ruby. Yang would be so much fun. It would be like having a tank character, but with just the speed of a zoner. That's what I think Yang would be like in this moveset. I think she would use a lot of, like, just straight up, like, hard-hitting punches, mixing the guns in her gauntlet into an attack, punch you, then fire them off. That'd be a lot. I think that'd be pretty cool. You could also, like, just charge up her abilities, have the hair flowing, all of that good shit. Again, we had Negan, so it wouldn't be that hard to get her. It wouldn't be that hard. And again, there is a lot of crossover for this, for an American property in here. And last but not least, Ryu from Street Fighter. Now, Ryu is actually a character I do think has the best shot out of all of these to show up in the next Tekken 8, to show up in Tekken 8. Reason being, we have Street Fighter coming up. Namco and Capcom are very cool with each other about Street Fighter and Tekken. Obviously, the crossover game didn't turn out well, but still, we had even Akuma, a vital part of the story in Tekken 7. So the next logical step is obviously Ryu. And again, they got a game coming out soon, so it would be a great cross-promotion. So I would say Ryu it would be probably, if I was a gambling man to say who among them would be the first guest character in here, probably be Ryu. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what guest characters would you like to see in in Tekken 8. Yeah, comment below, let me know. I'm very excited to see what you guys have to say. I threw in a lot of characters in here that I don't normally talk about because I'm getting into the fandoms finally. Like I said, Dead or Alive and Bayonetta was on this list. I also finally talked about Baki the Grappler. Finally. I also got to finally talk about Fist of the North Star. So, added some stuff I don't normally do. But anyway, so yeah, just comment below, let me know. Once again, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.